All right, hello. My name is Kevin Thomason, and this will be my Cartesian Diver experiment. So let's get into it. Alrighty, so first, before we get into any of the funky business and all the really just straight time that I've put into this project, um, this took me forever. This took me at least 2 hours, and I couldn't figure out which type of pen cap to use. I use like three different kinds because sometimes I'm slow at reading directions, and so on and so on. First, before we get into the actual demonstration of the Cartesian Diver experiment, I did want to briefly explain how I think it works before I get the general definition of how it works. So, when I was trying to put together the Cartesian Diver, we were talking a lot about air pressure on the walls of a surface inside of like a bottle or whatever with like a bottle cap. So I'm not truly sure if this makes a whole lot of sense to any of you, but it does make sense to me to some sort of degree. So in science or biology or chem or whatever class we're in right now, chemistry, we were talking about air pressure, specifically air pressure outside and air pressure on the inside, like a barometer or a manometer. So in a water bottle or any type of bottle, when the cap is on, there is going to be a ton of air pressure on the inside, which is also the reason why it is really hard to squeeze in this case to make it pop or to make air release unless the cap is not screwed on all the way or the cap is totally off. Now, I did want to say that I believe that the air pressure on the inside is greater. So when you do squeeze on the outside of this water bottle or 2 liter bottle that you have, for instance, what I have, which is right over here displayed for me, I believe that air pressure on the outside somehow makes the Cartesian Diver sink. Now, it does have a paper clip on it, which is one of the examples I saw online and on the website that I was using. We wanted to make it as light as possible or as heavy as possible without it to sink. All right, so now that I got my definition down, I'm going to do a more scientific definition that I have searched up a little bit and that I've gotten some help with by some other peers. So here is step by step kind of how this Cartesian Diver method or experiment works. So according to all the other sites I've seen and the website I used and books I've gone through actually and friends that I've talked to, it is most defined as when you squeeze on the top of the water bottle, it will decrease the amount of volume, which also increases the amount of pressure at the top. There will be water with a little bit of air at the top, and this will increase the air pressure up there. But this also decreases the buoyancy force onto it, making it enough to sink the actual Cartesian Diver, which is our pen cap with tape and a paper clip. So now I'll go to the actual demonstration with our Dr. Pepper 2 liter bottle. Alrighty, so now that I have my demonstration in front of you, I will show you how it works. So I just put the Cartesian Diver in, which is a pen cap with tape and a paper clip. So what's supposed to happen is when you squeeze the bottle, the pen cap should sink to the bottom. You'll see it down here. See it? It's sinking. You should see it on the bottom. And there we go. Now that I've finished doing the Cartesian Diver experiment, I have to go through a few questions. First question being, did I enjoy this lab or not? Now, I really did enjoy this lab as it put me through a lot of work and a lot of frustration and stress. Now, it's okay to be stressed sometimes as long as it is a healthy amount of stress. And I thought this was a perfect amount. It made me question a lot of things, but it also made me realize a lot of things, which I think was very nice. The second question was something that I was surprised or intrigued about. So I didn't really think there was going to be much buoyancy involved in this project or anything like that. I also didn't expect it to take this much time or trial and error. So I was really surprised when I had to put upwards of 2 hours into this project. But it did really, really confuse me on how the pen cap would sink to the bottom. Like, in my mind, that doesn't really work, and I feel like it would go against the laws of physics. The third thing I learned from this lab was not just don't put things off to the side for a tiny bit. I mean, I didn't put it off to the side for too long, but I did a little, and I could have done it a little earlier. But I also learned that sometimes things do have to go against the laws of physics. And there's one last question, which is, what is one question that I have about this lab, or one thing that I wonder about this lab? So I tried only with a liter bottle, or a liter bottle. So I was gonna wonder if it would work with like a 21-ounce water bottle, possibly, or 24-ounce water bottle. And are there any other like materials that you could use? Like, so you don't have to use like a plastic water bottle. Maybe it can be something else. So I was kind of wondering if that would work as well. So that is the end of my project. Thank you so much for watching, and I hope you guys can now learn about the Cartesian Diver a little more and get back to your experiments.